Hi guys, welcome back to the Daily Dreamer. Thanks so much for joining me today for a dream. I am having issues today, so bear with me. We're going to try and get through this dream. It's a very interesting dream, so let me take a drink real quick. Let's go on with this. All right, I wake up, come to, and there's a lady, and she had just had a baby. She is yellow-skinned, if that makes sense. I look down at the baby that I'm holding, and the baby is absolutely beautiful. The baby is yellow-skinned as well, only it has roses. Like, it looked as though it was tattooed on the baby, but it wasn't. They were already imprinted on the baby. Very beautiful red roses with the yellow skin. And I was curious, and I looked up at the lady, and I said, what is this? What's with the roses, the skin? And she said, well, the babies are more enlightened these days, as opposed to what we were. So I guess that was a result of them being aware, enlightened. I don't know. Anyways, at that point, things shift. Now I'm on a planet, and I see guards, and I see two lines, and I see friends of mine in both sets of lines. And you know me, I cut to the front, and I go right up to the guard, and I was like, what's going on? And he says, that people are making their choices. And I said, choices in regards to what? He said, their lives. And I was like, oh, can I make a choice? And he says, you've already decided. Well, that kind of bummed me out. So I thought, let me go ahead and talk to my friends. So I do. I go and I approach one set of friends, and I'm talking to them, and they're excited because they've chosen. Okay. And I was like, okay, whatever it is. So I thought, let me go see what they're choosing, because I saw friends over in this line, and I went over to this one. I see just glorious things. I mean, beautiful moments, happy memories. I mean, all kinds of stuff, just beautiful, radiant. Go over to the other one, and I go to the front of the line because I see friends of mine, and I see just negative disasters, just sadness, a lot of sadness coming. And I thought, well, let me go warn them. I need to warn them. And I tried talking to them, and they just don't want to listen. And it was not that they didn't want to listen. They just, I guess, either chose not to or couldn't hear me or something. I don't know. But the choice was made. The choice was made. That's what was imprinted on me, that it's already been decided. And that broke my heart, because as much as I tried to, tug at them or talk to them or whatever, nothing was working. They were completely oblivious, and that just broke my heart. So I go back up to the guard, and I was like, I want to change timelines for them. And he's like, it's been done. So at that point, then I was really frustrated, but then it didn't even matter because I was with back to consciousness. So what kind of a dream was that? While discussing these energy shifts with my husband, I'm pretty sure it had something to do with that. So what happens? I go into a meditative state, come up with some sort of answer as to what these dreams may mean, and let's go find out what I came up with, shall we? So we need to discuss these energy shifts that are coming up, especially after a lengthy conversation with my husband and then the dream that I had. So I think you guys need to be made aware of what's going to happen. Currently, right now, we are in a time of transition. There are energies shifts that are coming up, but our planet has become increasingly infused with contrasting vibrations and frequencies that are positive and negative, and they are taking a very different, they are separating, folks. We are watching a split in timelines happen. Take a look around. There are friends of yours that are experiencing extreme negative situations constantly, and then there are friends that are just benefiting and having the most amazing lives. There's no middle ground anymore. And why is that? Because things are shifting, and if you're not aware, then you're going to get left behind, and you're going to be stuck in that karmic cycle where you just need to, I guess, eventually find your time to awaken. But let's take a look at these energy shifts, because they will impact you regardless of whether or not you're aware, awakened, or what. You will be impacted. And if you can have some sort of a heads up for the coming week and the energy shifts, then you can brace yourself and make changes so that the impact is lessened. I'm already feeling it, let me tell you. But continuing on. So many of us, whether or not we are conscious of this elevation of these vibrations, we are experiencing breakdowns and breakthroughs at a very accelerated rate, if you will. That is because we are being pushed to be awakened, to align ourselves, if you will, with the divine force, God, whoever you want to call it. Many things right now are transpiring and shifting on a multi-dimensional level. Okay, and it lies outside your conscious state to even understand, and that's fine. Just worry about what's going on in here so that your week isn't going to be a bit off, a bit more extreme or amplified, if you will. If we're not aware, then we can get sucked back in the current of it all, and we're going to get stuck in the undertow of still having to deal with those karmic cycles of ours, if you will, until we're able to get out from underneath and ride that wave to understand that there are things out there that are going to be better for us, but we've got to change here first. Because if we don't change here first, nothing's going to change. Nothing out here will change. You got to take a moment. You got to shed those old beliefs, the negative thoughts. That's the only way you're going to be awakened, if you will. There are very negative forces right now in overdrive. And they're in overdrive right now because they are working night and day trying to keep as many of us as possible in a very low vibrational prison that will only function at a lower energy rate, if that makes sense. So you need to watch. You have to be aware. If all your negative lessons that you keep pushing away and trying to fight, it's causing these havocs for you because you haven't sat for 5 minutes to clear out what's going on in here. Folks, anyone that tries to resist this, anyone that tries to deny it, try to control it, it's futile. Let it go. It's going to happen whether or not you like it or not. They're only resisting because they're afraid. They're afraid of the change. They're afraid to change here. So they're going to fight at every tooth and nail they get. And it is unfortunate because you can't save them all. The choice for each one of us to wake up will and always has been right here. It is our choice, free will. You can choose to change it. You can choose to not change it. You can choose to deny it. That's your choice. But understand with your choice, you have consequences. If you are even remotely aware, you can see all the contrast in our everyday lives. You can see the extreme polarities play out with the negatives and the positive situations that we encounter. There is no middle ground anymore. People are either extremely nice or extremely rude or just barely even there. You know, these shifts that are happening, they impact us. Some people can see it, some people can't. These energies, okay, they're associated with the lower chakras, greed, power, lust, ego. You know, that's the lower vibrational ones that we're talking about. But if you're aware and you're changing in here, shedding your old beliefs, becoming a new you, then you are now reaching the higher vibrations. And those ones have to do with the mental plane, the etheric plane. It encourages us to tune into love and mercy and gratefulness and radiance. And that's always so much better, I think. You know, one has to understand what is occurring to be able to understand that change and make the change that's necessary for us to move on. It's like having your consciousness being extremely ripped from all of the small confines of who you thought you were, all of your old beliefs that made up who you were. It is being stripped of every single prejudice idea you've ever held on to, any negative expression that you're still holding on to. It's ripped from you. It's like you're standing there naked, you know, and vulnerable. And when that happens, because you took a moment to take responsibility, sit and appreciate that. Appreciate that moment. because now it's only going to get better for you, folks. That's what this energy shift is about. The awareness indicates that you are seeking to discover who, in fact, you really are, not that mask we put on out there. It's a seeking of a knowledge that you want to eternally progress, that you want to eternally grow, and you want to evolve mentally and spiritually. You cannot ask who you are without growing spiritually. But who are you really? Well, the answer is simple in words. You are the reflection of the awareness. You are the reflection of God. You're the reflection of you're the microcosmic to the macrocosmic. Does that make sense? You are only aware when you are able to shed who you think you are. You don't have the answer to everything, nor could you. None of us do, although we would like to think that we do. And those of us who think that we do, those are the ones that are just going to get stuck in the same cycle over and over until they figure it out that they don't have the answers. If you deal with negative issues always popping up for you folks, then every time you leave the house, these energy shifts, they're just going to continue to make themselves more amplified for you. And now those things may play out even before you leave the house, and now you're finding yourself fighting all the time. So you got to be aware, because if you're aware, then you can prepare. If you can prepare, you can lessen that burden and the impact on you. And we like when we have less burdens and impacts on us. It's like that saying by Michael Keeston, awareness is the key to success. If you have it, teach it. If you lack it, seek it. Anyways, folks, until next dream, thanks so very much for coming and hanging out with me and sharing a dream, and many blessings to you.